Hi there, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope I am visible to all of you and hope you are doing well on this Thursday afternoon and things are going fine. Let me have a look whether the stream is going fine because this is only the second time I am doing this streaming. So I want to just have a look at if everything is going fine or not. So let me just open up my channel on the mobile phone and let's see if I am visible to all of you and you're able to listen to this. So I'm going to analyze Tata Elxsi. That is the stock I'm going to analyze today, and hopefully this will help you analyze more. You can say stocks in the same domain. So uh, let's begin with that. So it looks like that the voice is pretty clear and you're able to hear me properly. Kindly do message me so that I'm able to understand whether things are moving or streaming well or not. So I'll wait for your message as well. Mohammed Ismail, a very good afternoon to you. Uh, Hope more people join in, then I'll definitely look to analyze this in detail. I hope you're able to hear me or not. Uh, uh, if you're able to hear me and see my visuals as well, kindly do message me on this chat box. That will help me as well. If Mohammed Ismail, if you can hear me and see me clearly, do let me know for that as well. All right. So before I begin the session and analyze, say, Tata Elxsi in detail, just a little bit of word about the market. So because of the Adani issue, you can see that the markets fell yesterday and it did not do that well. So there might be some lag in whatever I am putting up. So kindly do wait for that because there will be some lag in between when the video is captured here on the software and all right. So as I say it, so basically let's discuss about the markets first, and then I'll discuss about or will give you a complete analysis on Tata Elxsi, and you'll also have an understanding as to how I visualize these kind of stocks or analyze these kind of stocks step by step. So about the markets, markets are went down yesterday because of that particular issue, and it looks like that we could be headed further lower towards 17,100, 17,300 levels, and I won't be surprised if we see that drop right now in the next couple of weeks or so, and after that probably you'll see a markup on the stock prices across the board, especially on the mid cap and small cap arena. I'm pretty much positive that in the coming, you can say, weeks or so, you will see the markets doing better, uh, and in the mid cap domain and in the small cap domain, you will see that the market will do better. Yesterday the small cap index, as I see here, went down by about a percentage point, but many stocks fell 3-4%. There was Zomato falling more than 8%. So I'm on this money control side just to have a look at what you can say the small cap index did. So basically it is around 28,000 or so. It is down 10%, around 8% from all time high. It has not reached all time high, although the mid cap, you can, so the large caps have already crossed that. So that is where my belief comes in, that if you look at the last 8 or 10 years, you can say returns, it hasn't been that great for the small cap index, and that's why I feel that there could be some amount of trepidation. there could be a chance that the markets may end up falling a little bit, but overall when the recovery comes in, it would be in the small cap index. So around 28,000 is where we are. I won't be surprised if we go here, which was in September 2022. So in the small cap domain, 27,500 or so is your strong support. So I think 27,500 could be revisited. So we could have another couple of percentage point dip on the small cap index, and so main stocks may fall something like 6-7%. Be ready for that. But over a 18-month period, I see markets doing much better. So in terms of Nifty, I see a range of 17,200, 300 to around 18,200. In terms of the small cap index, I see 28,000 getting breached, and we could head towards 27,500 to 27,200. So that's about the markets. Now coming back to the fact that what has been the situation with respect to some of the stocks that I had been you can say talking about. So let's discuss about Tata Elxsi in detail, and then I'll come back and probably answer your queries as well. We'll have a query session for about 10-15 minutes in which I'll answer your queries. So Tata Elxsi, as you all know, is in the you can say the IT domain and has been doing extremely well in there with the kind of numbers it is producing. But we'll go step by step. Let's look at how the business has panned out for the company. So it is more or less in the you can say IT solution and animation space in which we have you can say uh, more into you can say television and media space. So it is among the world's leading provider of design and technology services across industries, including automotive, media, communications, and healthcare. Basically they are into media. And if I go further in details here, their geographical split is not that bad, because they have their major revenue base coming 36 and a half coming from Europe and 36% from the Americas, and that is probably where the numbers dipped. So we'll discuss about the numbers in a while, but around 14% of revenue is from rest of the world and 13% from India. So it is quite evenly distributed between Europe and US, and evenly distributed between India and other parts of the world, that is Asia and South America. And they have been doing pretty well over the last 10 years. It has been a real wealth generator. So if we go further into detail and look at the revenues by industry, as I explained, 44% of the revenue comes from you can say majority of the revenue comes from media industry, and that is where animation kicks in. Tata Elxsi was more or less into the animation space, helping you can say channels like Cartoon Network and other TNT and other kinds of companies, bringing up that animation graphics for all the cartoon channels and all. So they were into there, and then they got into the transportation space and the automobile space, which now contributes 41% of their revenue. And that is where the company does its business, majorly into spaces of you can say AI, artificial intelligence, driverless technology in cars, etc. That's where Tata Elxsi is big in, and now they are getting into you can say electric vehicles and all, and getting into it big time. So once automobile industry really recovers, this is going to do extremely well. And after 4 or 5 years of hiatus for the automobile industry, I feel it is set to do the industry is set to do well, and Tata Elxsi will do so as well. uh, Coming to the numbers front now, first we'll analyze the numbers and then we'll come back to the valuation part on this screen. So let's go further, and then I'll do the technical part. So there'll be three steps to analyzing Tata Elxsi. First, let's look at the numbers, then we'll look at the valuations, and then we'll look at technically as to what the stock is doing. So if you look at the numbers here, uh, in the December quarter, this is standalone. Let's look at consolidated numbers for once. So in terms of consolidated numbers, altogether, you cannot find much because more of the numbers after 2016 has been standalone. So going back to the standalone part, basically what they have done is around 818 crores of sales in the December quarter versus 635 crores of sales. Now that is about, you can say, 30% growth or so, if I'm not wrong. Let me just uh, calculate that. So I'm taking year on year growth as to what has happened in Tata Elxsi. So if I look at that, it's nearly 30%, 28.8% growth in terms of sales, which is pretty phenomenal considering the kind of numbers that most of the mid cap IT companies are producing, 15-20% growth. Tata Elxsi is producing that 30%, 28% growth on the top line. Margins have been around 30%, which has been decent. Last year they were 33%, so there is a dip of 300 basis points, but that was pretty much expected. And yet, 30% is pretty decent margin considering where the stock is. I'll let you know how I analyze stock, but at the moment, the numbers look good. Uh, Virtually no interest cost whatsoever, a debt-free company, uh, with a profit before tax of 240 crores versus 200 crores, or 20% growth there. And after giving away the taxes and all, the numbers are decent enough at 195 crores. But you have to understand that this time around they paid 19% tax, whereas in last year, or December of last year, they paid 25% tax. So basically, if they would have paid 20% tax, they would have come out with something like 176 crores in terms of net profit, and 195 crores is what the profits are this time around. So it hasn't been such a phenomenal growth as it has been over the last 5-6 years, and that is the reason why the stock has fallen from the top. So basically the growth has been around 12-13% on the net profit front, 30% uh, on the sales front, and the margin pressure is there for everyone to see. So if I look at profit and loss over the last 5-6 years since 2017, the growth has been pretty good, from 175 crores year on year to 240, then 290, then 388. Apart from the blip in the pandemic year, things have been pretty decent, and yet this time around the growth seems like cooling off, and we could see only 15-18% growth this time around on in terms of the profitability. And that is where you have the compression with respect to the price to earning. The price to earning multiple has contracted over time. So that is the basic reason why PE has contracted, because of the fact that the growth this time around has been something like 20%. It seems like that they'll come down to 20-25% for a couple of years also. So Ashok Dorai, you're asking about Tata Communication and Tata Power. My point on Tata Power is that one can accumulate but have a 2 year time horizon. Things are looking fine for the industry. It's just that people have moved into other sectors, and so on a short term basis it might not perform. Tata Communication on dips can be accumulated. I feel the big move has already taken place. So I won't say that you get into Tata Communication at these levels, but on major market declines, one can definitely look at buying into something like Tata Communication as well. So coming back to this, so this is about the profitability and the growth factor, etc. Coming to the balance sheet point of view, what I look in balance sheet majorly is reserves from 149 150 crores that was there 10 years back. The reserves have grown appreciably to around 1630 crores by September of this year. So hopefully by the end of the year you'll see a better picture around here. But year on year reserves have grown very fast, very well, and borrowings have not increased that much. Although in the last 2-3 years, it has the borrowing has more than doubled. So that is a cause for concern, but not much considering the kind of numbers profitability and reserves that the company already has. So no issue with that at the moment. I mean, 1630 crores of reserves versus 180 crores of you can say loan is nothing at all. uh, Coming back, what I look at rest is the shareholding pattern. 44% is with the promoters. You have FIIs at 13.9%. That has dipped by around 2% or so, 1.5% or so from last quarter. This is December quarter. You can say shareholding that has come out. Again, DIIs have also reduced, and they have probably sold off to the public, and the public shareholding has gone up from around 37 point or less than 37% in June 2022 to nearly 39%. But overall, the stock is in strong hands. So again, nothing to worry on that front as well. The company is pretty robust, top management, Tata Group in there. Now, why did the stock fell? Basically, because of the conditions in Europe and US. So the stock, as I see it, fell from all the way from a nearly 11,000, 10,800 or so, all the way to below 6,000 levels, closer to 5,800 or so. So there have been a tremendous decline because of the pressure in Europe and US. And the second thing is because of the kind of numbers it is producing. And there has been pressure on the automobile industry as well. So let's first discuss about the valuation part, and then I'll discuss about the technicals, and then I'll give you an idea as to what needs to be done with respect to the stock, and what could be or what is my opinion with respect to the stock as to what I feel what needs to be done. So this is where it is. So 41,000 crores of market cap, trading at very expensive price to sales of 13.8 or 14 times, at a PE of 58 at the moment. But we'll analyze as to how the PE would be, say 1 year down the line, FY23, FY24, and then we'll come back to as to what we believe could be a good rationale of buying or not buying into the stock. So basically, if I look at forward earnings, so if I look at say, if we assume in the March as to how the earnings would pan out. So if I calculate between March 21 to March 22, and this is where you need to really focus on, because this is where one can probably forecast numbers if you can focus on how I do it. So in March 2021, when the orders were coming in big time, the growth was from 518 crores in March 2021 to here, as you see, 680 crores. So this has been around roughly around 160 crores, 162 crores, which amounts to around 30% growth again in terms of sales. And even in this tough environment, what Tata Elxsi has done is show a growth of around 28%. So let's say if this trajectory continues in March and they have a growth of around 28% based on last quarter, based on March 2022 numbers. So 682 crores is what they did last time around. If I say they grow by 28%, then the numbers would be closer to something like 190 crores of growth. If I add 190 to the March 2022 numbers of 682, comes out to be roughly 872 crores. So I have a feeling that it would be somewhere around 870 crores in terms of sales. And if the margins are maintained here, which I believe they should maintain the margin around these levels of 30%. Let's say if the margin even dipped by 100 basis points, then the margin would be around 29%. And so your operating profit would be around 250 252 crores, which is similar to what they have done in December. So not much of a change. So if we take other things in a similar manner, and they pay taxes of around 19-20%, then I think roughly around 195 crores or similar kind of numbers would be in March as well. So around 31 rupees of EPS is expected, which was the EPS in December. So if I calculate the complete EPS for the company for the year, taking into consideration my projection of 31 rupees of EPS, uh, from March, which would be the next quarter or this quarter, which is currently going on, then it looks like that the complete EPS would be 120 rupees. Currently, the stock is around 6600. Uh, at 120 rupees, it is 5 times current earnings. Why I'm saying current earnings? Because it is trading at 55 times FY23 earnings. Now, if I extrapolate this and I say that next year could be slightly better because the conditions in Europe and US will become better from the second half of calendar year. So I have a feeling that if in the last 1 year from March 2022, which was around 88 rupees EPS to 120 rupees, so the EPS grew from 88 to 120. That has been a growth of around 36%. If I say that next year the growth would be slightly better than this, so it could be around 38, 39%, let's say 38% even on this 120 rupees. Then we are looking at EPS closer to 166 rupees. So if I only extrapolate the numbers as to what Tata Elxsi is doing, and we look at FY24 numbers, then FY24 EPS will be closer to 166 rupees in my opinion, and the stock is currently at a price level of around 6600. And remember that on this channel, more or less 95% of the times we talk about long term investment. So I'm looking at FY24 earnings. FY24 in March 2024, Tata Elxsi should come out with at least an EPS of 166 rupees based on the current price of 6600. On FY24 basis, the stock is trading at under 40 times. All right, you got the point till now, that what we did was we extrapolated the March 22 numbers into March 23, and we analyzed as to how the growth between 2022 and 2023 would be, and extrapolated that to 2024. So what we have come to is the fact that Tata Elxsi is trading at under 40 times FY24 earnings at around 6600 rupees. Now, what we need to analyze is, or what we need to compare with, whether this factor of Tata Elxsi trading at 40 times is cheap or expensive, because some stocks trade at 40 times earnings may look cheap, some others might be expensive. How do we gauge that? We gauge that again by historical prices. So again, screener helps us with this, that if we look at the PE ratio of the last 4 5 years, let's say the 5-year projection of the PE ratio, and what has been the average for the last 5 years for something like Tata Elxsi, then we see that it trades at around 32 times. So it's not that 40 times is pretty cheap. Normally, from a 5-year basis, the PE median PE for Tata Elxsi is 32 times. All right. Now we reduce that, since I believe that our time horizon would be somewhere around 3 years. Let's say if our time horizon is 3 years, let's look at last 3 years average PE for Tata Elxsi, and that gives you a very good idea. So the median PE over the last 3 years for Tata Elxsi has been around 62, and the stock is currently trading at 55 times on current earnings, and is trading at under 40 times on FY24 earnings, and that is where value comes in. That is trading at 40 times FY24 earnings. If I have a 3-year time frame from today, that means by end of 2025, that means December 2025 is my deadline. That means half of FY25, FY26 will be priced in. So even if I take FY24 numbers, the current PE is very attractive for me. The current price looks very attractive for me. Until and unless this growth stalls completely, and the growth is not 28, 29% and reduces to 20%. That is where the dilemma is. But I believe growth will only get stronger, because currently there is a lot of headwind for Tata Elxsi, and that is why now I am coming to the technical part. That is exactly why the stock, when it dips below 6000, there is heavy buying that comes in. So in December it happened. uh, when the stock fell, there was heavy buying. And if I look at the 1 year chart, so this was in December, the stock fell to 5800, there was heavy buying. And uh, if I go back in time and look at the charts, say somewhere around February again, during the situation in Europe when it escalated, the stock fell to 57, 5800, and there was heavy buying. Now, what we need to analyze is what could be the peak PE for the stock, so that it helps us in order to exit the stock as well. It helps us in order to probably take profits off. So, in my opinion, Tata Elxsi is a buy around these levels of say 6600, 6000 or so. But when should one sell? So, let's look at the PE ratio again for the last 3 years. So the average PE ratio for the last 3 years has been around 62. The highest has been around 100 and 410. So what we need to do is just take an average of these two averages. So if I take say 110 and 62, 110 plus 62 and divide it by 2. Whenever the PE goes beyond 80, 85, so if I look at here, 80 to 90, so whenever the PE goes to say this 88, this was in November, there was pretty decent selling. The PE went to 90, pretty decent selling, 85 or so. So there is a very good chance that the PE will reach around 80 to 85 in complete euphoria, and that is exactly where one should start booking profits, or should have an understanding that okay, now the stock could correct or probably consolidate, correct and consolidate, and will not move up on a shorter term basis. What is the shorter term basis? The shorter term basis is from October 21 till now it has been correcting. And so one, for the next year or so, you'll get virtually no returns or minimal returns from Tata Elxsi if it goes to a PE of 85-90. So that is exactly what you need to gauge. So again, coming back to the fact that as to what was the EPS we calculated for Tata Elxsi for say uh, uh, 2024, it was around 166. If I take a PE of 85, then Tata Elxsi could be headed towards 14,000. So this is exactly what I do on complete valuation analysis as to how I analyze most of the stocks. 14,000 could be the target in the next 2 years on the stock. It could extremely do well if the IT industry do well over the next 2.5 years. Or you could be in a situation, if the growth stalls, then the stock may not fall much. So what I look for is the fact that as to how much is the margin of safety. Now, taking into consideration that it is trading at only 40 times a 2 year forward earnings, if it say goes to 5500 from here, and I say 166 rupees EPS, it will come down to 33 times earnings for a stock growing at 28-29%. So I think the major downside here is around 5500, 5300 at worst, but the upside is phenomenal considering the kind of growth that Tata Elxsi is showing even now, with the margin erosion that it has taken up. So that is why at around 6000 heavy buying comes in, and probably around 5500, if those levels come in, there'll be even more buying from fund houses. And I believe that in this range, fund houses would be buying big time, and you'll know it by the March quarter. You can say when the March shareholding pattern comes around, FIIs and DIA holding would increase, and poor retail investors would have been selling to these you can say institutional investors around 6500, 7000, thinking that they have got out at a good price, although the stock might be headed towards 14,000. So that is my analysis in terms of, you can say, valuation analysis for Tata Elxsi. Again, you need to the disclaimers do apply. You need to do your own analysis and find out as to whether these things will apply or not. Another thing I want to add here uh, is that when you look at an ROE of a company, say in the case of Tata Elxsi, it is around 37%. Normally, a stock trades at double of its ROE if the stock is growing at more than 20%. I say it again. Normally, in the course of event, if the company is pretty good, debt free, growing in a very good business, in a very good industry, in a very decent industry, consumer centric industry, normally the stock has a PE which is double of its ROE. Now, even if this ROE dips to say 33, 34, then the stock should be trading at around 70 times. And the stock is trading at, as I explained, 55 times FY23 earnings and only 40 times FY24 earnings. So again, there's a lot of appreciation that is possible here in Tata Elxsi. So overall speaking, I feel that uh, in the coming couple of years, you will see IT performing well, and Tata Elxsi could be again a front runner. A disclaimer: I don't have the stock in my portfolio. I don't hold the stock, so that's a disclaimer from my behalf. Now coming to the technical part, let's discuss a little bit about the technical portion as well, and then we will probably get back to answering your queries. So coming to the technical part altogether, uh, let me just open this up again. The stock went up sharply. So this is 1 year, you can say, 1 year chart of it. The stock went to something like, so let me open up the price chart. This is PE ratio. The stock went to around 10,800 or so. So that's the high, 10,800 or so. And it has corrected over 40% to somewhere around 5,800, 5,700. Uh, Technically speaking, once it is above the 200 DMA comfortably, then one can definitely look at buying from a longer term time frame. Once it is above the 50 DMA, which is around 6,600, then it becomes a sure shot buy. So basically, if you want to buy technically, then I use money control for this because you get a very good idea of 20-day, 30, 50, 200-day DMAs here, and so it gives me a decent idea as to where the pivot levels could lie, or where the stock could perform or not perform well. So looking at it from that perspective, let me open up Tata Elxsi for that matter. uh, in my opinion, this is a buy above something like 7,000. If you want to buy on a short term basis, let the stock cross 7,000 and probably then buy, technically speaking. But what I feel like is that we could be in a situation where uh, you can definitely start accumulating now. So uh, let me, if I'm able to, let me just open this up and have a look at its moving averages, and then you'll have a definite idea. What I look for is the exponential moving averages, uh, which I'll go for now. So basically, if you look at the 50-day exponential moving average is 6,600, the 100 DMA is around say 7,000 or so. So that is where I feel that one can probably buy above 7,000 very comfortably, with a stop loss at 6,500 and further target. So technically speaking, it is weak, not that strong, but probably I am talking of long term here. So in terms of long term investment, I feel that the stock should be bought here and on dips from a long term point of view. All right, so I'm ready to answer your queries. Kindly uh, use the super chat and super sticker feature that will help me grow the channel. That will help you also ask me questions and eke out answers in greater detail. All right. Sir, kindly highlight accumulation level of Titan and Pidilite. So Titan at current levels is a buy. On dips to 2300, even better. Pidilite again around 2300 to 2250 is where one can definitely accumulate something like Pidilite. That's my call. All right. What else? So Tata Power I have just explained as well. Uh, so Kelpest, you want an analysis? I'll definitely do that. Hopefully soon. I have other analysis also lined up, so I'll do analysis on Kelpest as well in the coming weeks for sure. So Tata Chemicals, let me just open up Tata Chemicals, and you all will also have an idea. I'll just give you a, you can say, a technical view on it as to whether it should be bought into or not, or should be avoided. Trading around 950, uh 950ish or so, and has done well. So basically, if you see here, uh your levels are around 1000. So if Tata Chemicals go above, you can say 1050, that's where you buy 1050, 1070 with a stop loss of 1000. You don't buy right now. Probably on dips to 900 probably is when you can accumulate something like Tata Chemicals. Amara Raja, I would say if you have, hold on to it, but don't buy a fresh. I like other companies which are in the consumer domain, consumer centric companies rather than batteries. So that's the call. So Manoj, yes, I'll do it for Kilpes. There a lot of questions coming in for Kilpes as well, but I'll do it over a period of time for sure. Okay. Gokul Agro Resources, HBL. Well, I don't track. HBL I do, on dips can be bought 5 to 7%. Gokul Agro I don't. So I won't be able to comment on it. Uh, Asian Paints current levels and on dips to 2500, 2550. See, it's pretty interesting. I have Asian Paints in my long term, you can say, holding, but I feel that Asian Paints is something that one needs to wait for a couple of, for 1 quarter decent results and then buy into. You won't. I mean, I will not be surprised if another quarter goes like that. Then the stock may fall to something like 2500 or so. Okay. So I have done video on Preveg already. In fact, you can go ahead and watch that video on Preveg communication. And after that, for some reason or the other, the stock started performing well. I don't know why that happened, but Preveg looked very attractive earlier. But now it looks expensive. It has run up. So kindly do watch that video. Phase 3, I'll do a video soon. It's a very decent company that I'll do a detailed video on that as well. I think on a short term basis, Sukumar, it is expensive. I think the run up has been pretty sharp. It might just go up another 5-10% and then consolidate or may decline. So probably retail investors might get trapped by it. But overall, it seems like one can buy Preveg from a 3-4 year point of view on dips. So LT Food, see, Buchi Babu, let me have a look technically, but I won't say as an investment one can look at LT Foods in that manner. So let me see. So I can't open up the chart here, but basically I have looked at the stock. Let me open up in money control. There's some issue with the screener website. If I look at LT Foods, let me just open that up and I'll let you know as to what needs to be done. It's taking a little bit of time, the connection here. So basically, this company is into the food grain, rice export, etc. Currently, the stock is around 112 and has gone up sharply from the lows. I can understand that. But if you want to buy long term, probably the time to buy was around 60, 65, and it revolves around those levels of 60, 65 to 120, 130. Uh, It has been doing that for a number of months. Right now it is on the upper end, so on a long term basis probably you buy it when the stock comes down sharply or lower. On a shorter term basis as well, the stock has gone up too much, so what I'm looking at is probably look for dips to buy around 103, 105 or so, and have a stop loss at 100 for a target of 120, 125. Rather than buying right now, do a 15-20% trade in the stock by buying 10% lower from current levels. So that's my call on LT Foods. Very good company, Moltech Packaging. I think you can definitely look at it uh, from a long term point of view and accumulate on dips. So that's the call there. Uh, Good company again, TTK Prestige can give you 20%, 18-20% CAGR. You can accumulate it. Can give you better returns if they do some innovations over a 5-7 year period. Yes. Yes, Trent looks attractive, Sukumar. I think Trent can be accumulated, but again, these retail companies are not having the best of the quarters. In fact, Diwali quarter should have been good. The way DMart has come out with numbers, uh, I don't think that people are confident of buying into Trent at the moment. So long term, yes, it is a buy. IRFC, I am not that confident. See, anything related to government initiatives and all, I'm not very gung ho on buying into, even though defense has done well. But there are many sectors that have not done well, which are government centric. So that's the call on IRFC. Same call on SJVN. So that's my call. I think Hindware Home Innovation you're talking about, yes, it can be bought and on dips to 400. I think there's something happening there. I was looking at charts as well. Looks good, Hindware, in that respect. Mastech positive now that the major kitchen sinking has taken place. 1450, 1500 looks like a major support. Again, since I'm positive on IT, I think Mastech again could do well from these levels. Trading at 16 times earnings looks good, in my opinion. Thank you. Thanks a lot for being online. And those who watch the video later on, do let me know as to how you find the video, whether more informative or not. It is like a tutorial that I made in order for you to understand as to how I analyze these companies. Please do like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so then get my video straight away when I post it. And kindly do subscribe to my Patreon network, and you'll get a lot of benefit from that as well. Thank you.